Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
There we go. You got it?
Try.
Hello.
I'm my tongue is like exploding right now because I got something acidic on it and I can't find my Tums. I was trying to find Tums, so now it's just like all
Did,
bumpy.
did it burn?
No, it
Just
kind of
like
feels.
irritated?
Yeah, it kind of feels like I don't know I don't know how to describe it. Kind of feels like it has a cut,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Sensitive.
Sensitive. Sensitive indeed.
Mm-hmm. What do you call that?
Geography tongue.
Geography tongue. I thought it was topography tongue. Geography tongue? Nice.
Because they say it's geography tongue because like it'll eat away some of the taste buds or whatever, and then when you show your tongue it looks like a map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing well. Marbles kind of bother me. Um, been throwing a lot. I did we haven't chatted in a while, so soda workshop two
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago. That was quite the experience because we ended up firing it during the middle of the night because it rained a lot the next day. So I had to adjust for that. But everybody that came for the workshop was very happy with the results, the process. It was very tiring, but less tiring than the one before.
Oh,
So
good.
so that's good. And the firing lasted pretty long still. It still lasted like 16 hours and some change. So I actually did a little chat with Chat GPT a few days ago and was like asking some questions about like, here's my log. What do you suggest I should do to cut down the time? So I might try a couple of those things
Oh,
and see if we can get that firing time down and still get consistent results from top to bottom. So we did have it got a little too hot, but it's still very consistent from top to bottom, which is the main thing I want to walk away with from the workshops. Well, not the workshops specifically, but just soda firing in general is having
yeah.
a full cone six on the top to the bottom. So sometimes
Yeah.
that could be difficult to do. But I would say that's the main new stuff going on. I'm doing another throwing challenge this week, doing bowls. So I'm making a lot of soup bowls
Nice.
and some smaller little bowls. But yeah, just trying to rebuild stock. The Bisqueware is piling up, so Erica's been glazing some the last week or so and
Nice, nice, nice.
still throwing a lot. So that's nice. What's new with you? I don't know that we've actually talked since you started officially working.
Literally, what's not new with me at this point? I what's new with me? Well,
You're like 2 weeks into working, right?
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much 2 weeks.
yeah. I turned in my first like you clock in every day, but they do time cards that ask you how many like things you did and blah 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 and like how long it took and so on and so forth. And I turned my first one in today and then I came here to this parking lot. My this is my reception lot and and realized that I like didn't count correctly. There's this woman that works with us that reminds you know how I always tell you about my old professor from college, Anne Fong?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one that would yell at us, she'd be like, "Sharpen your pencil!" And there's this woman at work, and she's been there for 26 years, and she's like the Colombian version of Anne Fong. She just
Oh,
like goes around and is like, "You did this wrong." And I love her. I like she's just super blunt and like but also pretty like cool, and she has a quirky sense of humor. She's really cool. And yeah, but my hands hurt and that's a bummer.
What have you been doing?
Let's see. I made some squeegees. I've assembled kits that are like screen printing kits and um like other type of like screen printing inks and stuff. I've Today I assembled, the rubber like mats that they put the that you carve into the stamps and stuff.
Like those pink colored kind
Yeah,
of
the pink one.
eraser textured lino cut sort of.
Yeah. The rubber mats. I counted those and put them in boxes today, and then I counted them and put them in bags today. And that's what I miscounted on my time card. And then I I like did gold leaf. I put gold leaf into its packaging, and we did like, oh God, the nibs. We did a calligraphy pen set that we had to put together. That was annoying.
You put it
Um,
together like in the box. Like you
yeah,
just
in the
got all the
box.
parts and you've got to assemble it into the box.
Yeah, so just so you know, if you ever get anything from Speedball, pretty much everything is assembled by hand.
I mean, how would they automate that if it was?
I think some places
Because
have it automated, you know?
because for people that don't know, are you assembling this? You're not doing this for online orders. You're doing it for distribution,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're putting it all.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, but some things could be, packaged by a machine for sure, but that costs like a shit ton of money, you know?
Yeah, and that machine is
So,
for one specific purpose, right? So you'd have
yeah,
to
yeah, you'd have to have like
interchange
a bunch
like
of
what
different
it's
machines.
doing.
So, I mean, like, obviously like filling up all of the inks and stuff is automated, but there's people like watching the machines and adding things to it and taking things off of it and stuff like that. And then those go into a bin, and then they go into the back, and then they go in, and then when they need to be pulled, they get pulled and then put on the line so that you can like package them up.
Hmm. So
Um,
if you're doing like squeegees, for instance, are you doing squeegees for 3 days straight and then you won't touch them again for like a few weeks because you've already done like thousands of them in that period of time?
yeah,
Or
potentially. Yeah, potentially. So like the calligraphy pen sets that we were doing yesterday, um Marisol told me that it's not like, she's like, we do this so little that, you know, so they like kind of just get it out of the way, and then when they have to do it again, they do it again, but so it's not like it's
it'll hold you
something.
over for a while.
Right. And like, but then again, some of them are orders like the rubber cutty thingies. That apparently is an order. So, and it's like there's a lot of steps, right? So you gotta take them out of the box, you gotta turn them over so that they're facing the right way. Because they don't want any of the labels to face out, apparently. Then you got to put it in a bag. Then you got to put a sticker on the bag. And then you got to put another sticker on the bag. And then you got to put the bags back into the box. And then you got to put a label on the box. Then you got to tape the box. And then you got to put the box on the pallet. Like, there's just like a
It
lot of
sounds
steps.
kind of like what like Andrew does with his cards, right? Didn't he kind of do that with cards a little bit, like putting them in sleeves and stickering them and
Yeah, yeah, basically it's that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could have just worked for Andrew for $18 an hour. Um, don't ever tell him I said that. Uh, no, but actually, I think
But the
Andrew.
products change, so maybe that adds a little spice to it that you're
Yes,
doing
I mean,
some.
I'm not saying that it's bad. It's actually quite fun. I mean, it's not. I don't like the line. I like working alone better than working with people, but I think that that's just because I'm like definitely not as fast as as the other people, because it takes time to
Mhm.
get your stride. And like some people have been there for like 8 years, you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
Some
you're
people have
two
been there
weeks
for like
in.
15 years. Yeah, exactly. Like I shouldn't be I should not expect to be that fast and nobody should expect that of me. Um
Right.
yeah, like today the person that was doing the rubbery thingies with me, she did like 60 boxes. That's 60 boxes with 12 bags of six. So like
So
12 bags that have
72,
so
12
six
times 6, right?
yeah, so 72 times 60.
72 boxes times 60 boxes. Oh my gosh.
Well, 72 little rubbery thingies times 60. That's how many she touched. That's not how many she made, but
Oh, because you all were working on a line.
kind of like, well, I mean, like she did make them all, but like she had to put six in each bag. So there's actually 12 bags of six little rubbery thingies times 60. That's 720. 720 bags. But that's actually 4,320 little rubbery thingies. So that's
It
how
probably
many.
says that on the label, right? Little rubbery thingies.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's been a long fucking day. Um,
And that's the whole day.
yeah, that was her whole day. My whole day was
Or yeah, you were doing the
we
calligraphy
ended
thing.
what we did yesterday, and then I started with the rubbery thingies in packs of 10, and then I went to the rubbery thingies in bags. But like when you're standing all day and you're like over the table, your back starts to hurt and like,
Oh yeah, I bet.
yeah.
You gotta find the right. Do you sit? You don't sit. You stand. So do you have like a cushiony thing under your feet at least,
Yeah, yeah, they
or
have the
better or better
things.
shoes? Yeah,
The first day when I was packaging squeegees, I didn't have the cushiony thingy because I was on the opposite side of the table. And I was like, is this like some sort of initiation? Like, what the fuck? This hurts so bad. But it was fine. Anyway, I invested in a hand massager because my hands are in ruins. I thought that this job wouldn't be as bad for my hands. I was wrong. Um,
doing
but it's
anything
okay.
repetitively is gonna strain your hands, right?
Yeah, but it's okay um because I have insurance now, so I can pay to have my hands fixed. And um
Hopefully that doesn't put you out of commit. I'm guessing that'll put you out of commission for a period of time though.
it might, but I heard that the carpal tunnel surgery, like you can go back to work really quickly now
That's
because it's
good.
so minor. So that'll be nice. I don't think that I'll get it for another year, but my red light, I have like a red light therapy light. Um, Lindsay is shipping me that so that I can like put my hands under it every day.
Is there anybody there that you could ask, like, hey, do you have like, is there anybody that's got bad carpal tunnel stuff and how they've coped with it? Because if you're talking like 8, 10 years or whatever, like they've had to figure something out.
There's like four people at the job that have already gotten the surgery.
Oh, well, that's good. You can at least get some feedback from them.
I know. One one of the girls that's got the surgery, she's so sweet. But I don't know if I trust the she's I don't know how like she's a lot on the spectrum, so I don't know how much time like she had to take for recovery or something and like if it was
Hmm.
more or less, so but somebody else I talked to said it only takes a week of recovery. She said it takes 3 weeks, so who knows? Who even
Hmm.
knows? Anyway, also I put down an offer on this lot of land. I has to get a soil test to make sure that there can be a septic system. If the soil test pass, which we got a 50% chance it will, because it's had a denied soil test in the past. Well, it had a denied perk test, but I think that that had a lot to do with planning. Regardless, if it has a soil test that is good, then I'll have land that I have to build like a tiny home on. I don't fucking know. I've like the last 4 days, I've just been like reading code enforcements for North Carolina. And I'm not even fucking kidding when I tell you that you can only have a farm shed if you have a bona fide farm. What the fuck does that even mean?
What's a farm shed mean though? Is that like a bigger shed than a certain square footage?
It's like a regular size shed, but you can't have a shed on a piece of property without a permanent structure, i.e. a house,
Oh,
unless it's a farm shed
farm shed. Hmm.
or like a farm building.
Yeah, there has to be a farm, but there
Like,
has to be other things that distinguish it as a farm, I suspect.
yeah, I don't know. It's so stupid. Like, this is the question I have. Okay, I buy a piece of land, right? It's a large piece of land, right? This is an acre and a half, okay?
Hmm.
And this acre and a half piece of land, I'm not going to build on yet. Okay, like let's say I'm like, maybe I'm waiting a year, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't put a motherfucking shed on the property to store my lawnmower in to mow the lawn because there's no house.
Yeah.
And it's like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, just let me mow my lawn without my lawnmower getting stolen. Like,
Yeah. Did you ask somebody? Did you talk to somebody and like ask them like, "Hey,
talk to a
what?"
few people, but I need to call the city. The problem is that I don't want them to know who I am, so I gotta call anonymously.
Walk in there with a have a voice changer.
Yeah. I mean, I did go in there and ask them stuff, but also like my realtors ask questions, and I'm like, they're gonna, I'm gonna have like so many red flags that they're gonna be looking out for at this property. I am screwed. So, yeah,
But how do you like can you like get mail delivered? You just put a mailbox out there?
I have no idea. I haven't gotten to that part of the code yet. It's
Well, I
so,
guess I mean I suspect there's reasons why they do that because they don't want you probably living in that structure without permits and stuff because you need permits to build structures and all that.
God,
Get stuff dropped off.
the amount of things that you need permission to do on a piece of land is unbelievable. I know we don't talk about politics here, but I might be changing my politics because of this land debacle. That's all I have to say. The fact that they
Well,
don't
if you
like,
wanted to sell it, there's nothing, if you don't go through the proper channels, then there's nothing saying like, hey, this is in the best interest of the person you're selling it to. If there's no like regulations you have to go through, I don't know. There's got to be something governing what you can and can't do to some extent. But the shed thing seems kind of stupid, but
the shed thing is very stupid, but also I would like to say that I could understand that, but like if you do something not to code, like here's what I think. Here's what I think. I think that you shouldn't have any like stipulations. Like they should have the codes and they should have the permits or whatever if you need to. But if you like don't do them, then you're not allowed to sell your lot or you have to like change it before you sell it, you know?
well, you
Like,
don't technically own it. I mean, the bank owns it.
what if you do own it?
Mm, yeah. If you do own it, then
Like
you
what if you
can't
pay
sell
for
it. But if you can't pay your bills, then somebody else owns it, right?
What are
If
you
you
talking
foreclose on it, if even if you own it, like you still got to pay property tax on it. So like technically you still owe money. I don't know. It can become not yours if you don't pay for it, even
Okay,
if you
yeah,
like
but
own
let's
it.
assume that you pay for it for the rest of your life. Okay, and then you're like, oh God, I want to sell it. Oh no. Then you're like required to get it up to code to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't understand why we fucking have it. Like, what if I have this land for the rest of my life and forever and for on?
Mm-hmm.
And like, even if it's not up to code, when I do, like, if I die on the land and be buried in the garden, like, I still think it's fucking dumb as shit. I get it though. I get it. We gotta have our neighborhoods look nice. Blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever. But still, I
I mean,
just,
there's nothing saying you can't get a shed delivered, right? I mean, you could get it dropped off. It's just, is it legal or not?
right.
I
And
mean,
like,
the Lowe's is not going to ask, do you have a permit to do this or what? Like,
oh,
they're just going to drop it off.
of course. Of course. And like, but here's the thing also is now that I'm on their fucking radar, I'm not getting a goddamn shed. I will go through the proper channels to get a farm shed though.
I mean, I suspect like there's been like I don't know what the right I guess zoning the zoning board or who the zoning vehicle I've seen drive in our neighborhood before, and they just give a quick look at the house to know like is it still kind of like up to what it was before or something or
Yeah,
like
that's
the
fucked up.
standards. So
That's
there's a zoning person that just drives around. I've only seen him once since we've lived here. We lived here for like 3.5 years, but I think they're just looking at it to make sure it like still meets like code, I guess, like at first glance. So if they drove by and saw, oh, there's a shed now there all of a sudden, but there's no house, they'd probably report it to the city or whatever, and you'd probably get a letter.
right. So if they could find me.
I mean,
Um,
maybe they do stuff when they see new sales have happened and they have to just assess it or something.
yeah, I don't know. But also, what was I gonna say? Oh, also it depends on if your town is a if they're proactive or reactive. So
Mm,
proactive, like the city of Statesville is actually proactive, but Iredell, this is the weirdest fucking. Okay, this county is spelled Iredell. So obviously it's
that's weird.
Iredell, right? It's Iredell. That's how
Hmm.
it's phonetically pronounced. But not here. Just like every other state I've ever lived in, it's Iredell. Iredell.
They have their own pronunciation of it, I guess.
Yep. Anyway, so Iredell is a reactive county, but
County. Hmm.
Statesville is a proactive city. So they do go around and like have a zoning guy, but Iredell doesn't. So it's all based on complaints. So,
Mm,
and I mean it's in the hood, right? Like this property is not in the nice part of town. It's
yeah.
exactly where I want it to be.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think the neighbors are gonna be like, oh, this person.
Yeah, I wouldn't think the
But
neighbors would know that, like, regulation that you can't have a shed without,
no,
unless you're doing something else to raise suspicion that they would call zoning. But, like,
yeah.
I wouldn't think, yeah.
Anyway, I will be doing things by the book. Don't worry. By the book as much as possible.
You could probably just get a mobile home or something on it if you wanted. That'd probably be cheaper. Or tiny home. I don't know how much mobile homes cost versus
Yeah,
tiny
I
homes,
could
but
well, the plan is to do a tiny home, so I've got to get a septic. So sometime this year I'll probably do some sort of a funding for a septic, like make something for.
I did do a quick research on tiny homes in our county because I was like, do you have to do anything different for tiny home permits or whatever? And they just said no, as long as it's like up to code with, building regulations, then you're fine.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same thing here, except for you have to have like that's the thing though, like, it's a tiny home, right? So it has to the code regulations, it has to be like, I don't know, no dwelling space can be less than 70 square feet, which doesn't work for a tiny home. and then
Dwelling space? Isn't that
like a
just the entire
bedroom.
inside structure?
No, it'd be like a
Oh.
bedroom or a living room, like, and then you have to have a bathroom with a shower or a bathtub. Um, so
Hmm.
that means that like you couldn't have like an outdoor shower, an outdoor bathroom, you know. Um,
Hmm.
Even if you had a septic, not like I'm not talking about like an outhouse or anything, but even if you had a septic, you couldn't like place it somewhere else. So there's just a lot of things that, but thankfully tiny homes are acceptable.
Hmm.
So that will be
I
the
mean,
plan.
the bathroom thing makes sense. You probably don't want people just shitting out in the outside. Like,
Oh,
we're
for
no
sure.
longer in outhouse
No.
times. Like, we don't want that stuff in the
No, no,
ground.
no. Like you have to have water going through proper sources. So,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It's fine. You can't have any holding tanks, which is kind of a bummer. But
What's a whole? That's a septic, a holding tank.
no, a septic is a system that evaporates into your land.
What's a holding tank then?
A holding tank is just a tank that holds things that you would get like pumped out.
Oh, okay, okay. Not like a water reservoir or something. Just a holding. It just holds stuff. Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so like if you didn't want to do a septic and you wanted something cheaper, you would have a holding tank. And like there would be chemicals in it and stuff that would be fine, and it might be underground, it might be overground, it doesn't matter. But then somebody would come in and have to like pump it out.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
Whew.
Anyway,
Who
now
knew
that
you'd have to get into all this stuff?
not me, am I regretting it? Maybe a little. But I can't buy a house, so here we are.
Whew.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Okay,
You did make some new stuff though.
I
So
did.
you're working your way into
Yep.
making a few things.
I got a little studio that I'm paying 200 bucks a month for, which is nice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is that where you did your workshop at?
No.
Your kiln workshop?
No, I did that. I can't do anything there because it's got no like reception.
Oh.
That's why I'm in the reception parking lot.
Oh, okay.
The cats are like gone. They're at the land that I was parking at that I got stuck in the mud twice at.
Oh.
So I just dropped them off before I came here. So that's why I was asking if we could make it kind of short,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
which we're not gonna, but that's fine. It is what we are.
It'll be all right.
And I'm sure my audio's garbage because I'm sitting in my bed.
No, it sounds good.
Okay, well,
At least from my side, it sounds good.
that's good.
I don't think it sounds much different, honestly.
Okay. Anyway, um, yeah.
Are, are you looking forward to Nsika?
I believe the appropriate response is yes.
Did you tell people what you're doing at Nsika?
I kind of like mentioned it, but um, I will be the one of the sponsored artists for Speedball this year at Nsika.
Which means you're basically at the booth most of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, like all the time. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, like the property is supposed to close the week before Nsika,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not really thinking about it.
Not thinking about Nsika? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be here before you know it, so
But I got new cups. I at least have that, so I can kind of get working on that. I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea.
you'll
I
have you'll have jewelry probably, right?
have jewelry.
You'll travel with that. That'll be
Yeah.
easy to get around.
I'll have jewelry and I will have um some cups. I don't know how many cups do you think I should have for Insika to like sell at the booth?
I don't know. I feel like I did see Chris selling a few here and there when
Yeah,
he was at the booth last year, but I don't think he had a ton. I feel like he had maybe like 12 or something.
that's what I was thinking.
12 to
Like,
15. I feel like that wouldn't be overwhelming to transport.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty positive I can just put it on the
I think his price point's a little higher too, though. But
well, I'm pretty positive I can just put him on the pallet at
oh, yeah, that's
well,
a good point. I mean, you'll have to I guess they'll transport stuff back, right? As well. They'll have a pallet
yeah,
to bring back.
yeah, they should.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, bring 25 or so. I,
yeah,
I mean, are you going to transport your earrings with you since they're pretty compact?
yeah, unless I can just throw them in a box and put them on the pallet. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would suspect you'll probably sell more earrings anyways. So
I would too.
I wouldn't stress much about the cups. I mean, did you take cups last year?
Yeah, I think I sold a few.
You sell like half of what you took?
Yeah, but it wasn't that much, you know.
Okay. I'd
So
bring
I don't know.
similar amount then if you didn't sell all of them.
I should have a sign that says septic system fund,
There you go. Tiny house fund.
tiny house fund.
That
Yeah.
sounds a little nicer than septic system fund.
Yeah, but septic system fund is funnier and it hits closer to home for a lot of people.
Or you could be like, ask me about my
Ask me
septic
about my
system
septic
fund.
system.
That sounds a little too personal, but ask me about my septic system fund. Ask me about it or something.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Also, I don't know if you saw it, but I did a post recently that was about like, um, wait, are you excited for NCECA?
Yeah, I'm demoing at Speedball, and Erica's coming with. She's gonna be there
Yay!
helping demo. We're doing it on Friday at Speedball, and then I'm gonna demo at Kentucky Mudworks on Thursday.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna make it out to Utah. Second time in a couple months.
Yeah. Fuck.
Not looking forward to traveling all the way out there, but it'll be good.
So where am I? Still have to figure out what to do with my fucking cats.
Is that what you're hoping to land, and then you just leave them on the land for a week?
I don't know.
Or well,
What's
it's most of a week, I guess. Have somebody come check on them.
yeah. I could potentially leave them on Preston's land
At
and
at
dude,
least it won't be as cold. I mean, it's been, I don't know where you're at, but it's been pretty cold the last few days here. But
it's supposed to be like 12 degrees tomorrow. It's supposed to snow. The and apparently everybody here when it snows, absolutely, it's like a whole fucking ape shit situation.
mm,
Like they sell out the eggs and the milk and like the toilet paper and like Mike, my manager, was like, Becca, we kind of just tell people that if you can't come in, you don't have to. Like, it's up to you. And I was like, I'm from Colorado. And he was
should be
like,
like, I'll come in. It'll probably be quieter in there.
yeah,
So
he was like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I was like, great.
nice.
Like, yeah, I'm from New Jersey, so I don't really get it either, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you live on the sticks and you gotta, transport's a little tougher to get
yeah,
down hills and whatever. Driveways aren't clean, then
yeah.
pretty tough. But
Woof.
yeah, the reason I was asking about Sika because L&L is going to be there. We're going to see them,
I knew
and
that's what you're
they're
asking.
they're
Knew it.
giving away a few things there. So plug and fire is the main thing they're giving away. Um, so they're doing at the booth, they're doing the plug and fire giveaway. So you
Can I
actually get to see it
interject?
in person.
Can
Yeah.
I interject with something, a hot tip about the plug-in fire for
Mm.
those people that are interested but can't like quite pull the trigger? I've been tracking how much the cost is here.
Oh
N-
yeah.
Now,
I
it's 15 cents per kilowatts, so I don't know if is that's
I
not every
don't. Yeah,
price.
I haven't calculated it on my side either.
That's not everybody's price, but at 15 cents per kilowatts, I did my initial firing with all the elements was $1.90. I did the my slow bisque was $3.54, and my fast five firing was $3.40. So
Mm.
if I was firing earrings, a $3.40 firing for almost probably $1,000 in earrings would be insane.
Because you're single firing those, right? For the earrings, you're not,
No, I'm not single firing it. I bisque them, but still, even $7 for
because you can pile them in there and get tons of them,
yeah.
you know.
But like to put it into perspective, I thought it would be like $5. The fact that it's $3.54 for like a long bisque that was like 12 hours, that's insane.
That's pretty good.
That's so cheap. And like
I,
even if you put regular cups in there, you could fit eight like 4-inch tall cups.
mm-hmm.
Like still $8 for that. Like
Yeah.
if it's what, $4, it's 50 cents a cup for
Yeah.
firing.
It does go a little, yeah, it does go a little longer. I was packing mine pretty good with spoon rests and stuff, and it was or not spoon rests, shot glasses.
Yeah,
It took a little longer, maybe a couple hours longer.
yeah,
So I think I was doing a kind of a medium speed one,
yeah.
the density, but
But anyway, back to Nsika and Eleno. Hopefully that pushes you right over the edge. But
hmm
definitely put your name in for the plug and fire.
yeah, so that's at their booth. That's booth 508 in the, the vendor hall where all the companies are. So they said that they're also going to have a landing page on their website with the rules and details and everything.
Yeah.
So they don't have that officially just yet, but you know where to find that when you go to their website. So they're doing that, and then they're doing another giveaway. Do you want to talk about the other giveaway they're doing?
Yeah, the giveaway, the second giveaway is actually for the K through 12 exhibit, and they're also giving away another plug and fire. But it's going the exhibit is gonna have a teacher and their student gets a plug and fire. So like two plug and fires to
hmm
those guys. So which is really cool. So if you're in the K through 12 exhibit, then you have yeah, you have a chance. And I guess you actually vote for your favorite work. So I guess the winners
Mm.
get it like that. It says on there like our little notes and stuff that like go vote for your favorite work. So I wonder if it's a
Maybe it's like a winnings
yeah,
gift
it
kind
might
of
be a
thing.
winnings. We don't know for sure, but how exciting. And like some of those works in there are freaking insane. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. What else are they gonna have on the floor?
All right. So, like, if you've ever been to their booth before at Insika, they've always got a good footprint and they've got three other kilns there. So, they're kind of their quote unquote bigger top loading and front loading, or I think it's only the top loading ones they have, but um, the top loading kilns. So, they have the E18S 3 single phase 240 volts. So, that one's kind of like the smaller footprint one. I think that one's around I think it's about 3 cubic feet, maybe.
I think it is. So it should be 18 across, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's about 3 cubic feet.
Yeah.
And I'm looking right now.
23T.
E18S is 2.5 cubic feet.
Okay, great. And then they'll have one 23T3, which is 240 volt single phase. And that's the most popular, and I believe that's 7 cubic feet.
Yeah, that's the same one I've got.
And then
E23T, 6.7 cubic feet. Yep.
and then production level potters, they are going to have one E2827, and that's a Quad Pro series, and that's available for purchase as well.
28, 27. That's like 10, a little over 10 cubic feet. So
Yeah, that's a money kiln right there. That
that's a
I
big
love.
boy right there.
Yeah.
All these kilns obviously have the Genesis controller. They go to cone 10. all that good stuff, all the same features that we talk about with the L&L kilns. So they do have special exhibition like prices for that. So they are first come first serve. So get over there and reserve one, talk to them about pricing and all that stuff when you are walking around. And if you want, it says you can also pre-order it now and email them at sales@hotkilns.com if you want to secure that kiln before you actually get there physically. If you're like thinking about it and you're like, okay, like I don't even want to wait till I get there, you
Yeah,
can email them and they
you've
can
done that.
talk to you. They also said to mention Wheel Talk. So
Yeah, make sure you mention
that
us.
doesn't hurt.
I think that by next year I'll probably be ready for a 3 cubic footer.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get it in Detroit when I drive up there. Or
Hmm.
maybe I won't. It's,
Well,
I don't,
yeah, I mean, I suspect a lot of like this is your chance to save a bunch of money on if you're physically located in that
yeah,
area and you've wanted an L&L, like, and you're worried about shipping, like, get it. And if you can transport it, figure out a way to get it transported because um, there's a Pacific supply company, I think is what there's a Pacific Northwest supply company that has elements and stuff that I work with. So like you can get elements
yeah,
and restock the thermocouples and all that kind of stuff on the West Coast. It's not like it's only near L&L and New Jersey, Pennsylvania area.
yeah.
So
Like the Tilted Kiln carries all the L&L stuff. They've gotten me elements and everything like that. So
yeah. So where do folks need to go to find out the info about L&L or get in contact with them?
Kilns.com.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to get in some questions today?
Yeah. But we're not gonna do a ton of questions.
All right. We're gonna dive in. This is just gonna be a Q&A episode because we haven't done those in a while, and I want to kind of get through a number of these so we can check them off the list. All right. First question is from KK Jard, KK Jard on Instagram. She writes, "Wedging tables are so expensive. Do you have any ideas on substitutes?"
Hmm.
Have you ever made a wedging table? I haven't.
I have made a pseudo wedging table. Uh, I feel like a heavy table against a wall is just as good.
Yeah, I mean, I would say yeah, like a wooden table if it's not finished on top, those are pretty good because it doesn't stick to the top.
Yeah.
Get some good so it sucks a little bit of the moisture out and you don't have to, you're not worried about it sticking on there. I these days I don't wedge a ton, but when I do like wedging reclaim, I have like a plaster bat that I make kind of like uh where like a reclaim drying plaster that I've like poured into a plastic tote and it's like an inch and a half thick. Usually I'll dry clay out on that and when I need to wedge, I have one that's like similar in size. It's, maybe about the size of like a big bat. And I just put it on the floor and I just wedge on the floor with the reclaim.
Yep.
But you could also sit that on the table that leans up against the wall and just, butt that all the way up against the wall so it's not shaking and rocking and stuff. And just use something like that or wedging table. I mean, some people use concrete. You could do it on the concrete floor. I mean, my floor I would kind of worry about picking up like little paint and stuff because my floor is painted, but if you've got
Yeah.
like a smooth concrete surface that's clean, you could probably just clean that and because some wedging tables are made out of concrete. They like, have wooden templates and then they just pour concrete in them and that's what our college one was made out of. It wasn't plaster.
Yeah,
It,
because concrete is it is absorbent. You usually have to seal concrete, so
yeah. So concrete, I mean, you could also use like the Hardy Backer board.
Hardy's
It,
good. Yep. Yeah, I feel like any just like if you built a table out of 2x4s, that would be heavy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just a freestand. If it is a freestanding table, like you do kind of want some stability. So, you know, more pushing down into the table instead of pushing like horizontally with the table is gonna make
Yeah.
it more sturdy and more
And definitely braced
stable.
against the wall is nice and
Yeah. You could
preferred.
probably mount the table to the wall a little bit with just a couple brackets maybe. Just
Yeah.
make it a little more stable if you're worried about it rocking and stuff.
Yeah, but if you do have money, you should just buy a Bluebird wedging table. Those things are sturdy as fuck.
That
Yeah.
would probably be under the umbrella of wedging tables that are expensive, but
Yeah, it is definitely under the umbrella of wedging tables that are expensive. I was just saying that.
yeah, yeah. All right, you want to read the second one?
Yes, I shall. My eyes are not doing well right now, and I have no idea where my glasses are. Okay. How and where do you store all of your pottery inventory? I am running out of ideas. Most of my markets are in the summer, so trying to get inventory built up, but running out of space. I have railroad, what are railroad containers? I have railroad containers I could put stuff in, but from Colorado, so I don't know if that's a good idea.
Are those like outdoor containers? Oh, like a shipping container? Is that what that means?
Maybe?
Like, you know what I mean? Like a pods, like the
Oh, yeah,
big
yeah,
heavy
like a,
duty. That's a sweet. That'd be pretty sweet to have one of those for storage. Um,
yeah, I bet that's not in code.
so that'd be sweet. You can get one of those railroad containers. Just be like, I don't know why that's here. Um, well, the thing is, if the piece is already finished, I wouldn't worry about storing it in something like that. I mean,
I would
as
put it
long
in
as
it.
it's yeah, as long as it's in a plastic tote, it's moisture proof. It's not, you know,
Yeah.
and you're not doing anything to stress it that much. I mean, I wouldn't put everything in there and then be like, okay, by the time summer comes around, I take it out and I see if it's broken or not. Like maybe put like a few things in there and see, like test it out for a week or two and see if any issues happen.
Yeah, but if they're in airtight containers, nothing should happen.
I mean, the only thing I would think is if you're sanding pieces and you got a bunch of moisture in there and then they freeze, could that break pieces?
Well, you could put some silica in there and it'll absorb all the moisture.
Hmm. That's why they have the little silica packets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've just been putting stuff in all the nooks and crannies I can find. Uh, if you haven't, I mean, if you haven't cleaned out your studio of old bisqueware or pots that you don't have anymore, I think that's what I recommended to Shell when she asked. Um, clean out, put some stuff in different spots that you freed up after you cleaned it. But I'm storing a bunch of like bisqueware just in kind of those, those blueberry totes or whatever from Costco, and I'm just storing them in there, and then I'll sit them on a shelf and pile stuff up on shelves. So, for me, I mean, I've got to restock all of my like quote unquote finished stuff that's in the garage for shows because a lot of that is empty. So I would say like, don't wait to start glazing things until, you get to summer. Like try to work on glazing and firing some things to restock those bins so that you can free up Bisqueware shelving in your studio as well as, because I suspect you're probably making a ton of stuff right now and you're running out of space for the Bisqueware. But
Yeah.
if you could do a
Like,
sale to get rid of old stock, if you're worried about like, oh, I have a bunch of over stock that came over the new year that I didn't get rid of, like don't feel bad about donating it or
yeah.
smashing it or selling it
But
at a
also,
discount or mystery box or something.
like you said, those like blueberry containers from Costco are very handy and you can stack them like almost 8 high.
Yeah, I put some other like that's what I put some finished spoon rests in too. It's like almost the right height to stack, but it's I think I am sitting it directly on top of spoon rests, but
Yeah.
that's only if you stack them like vertically, which I can fit more in there than stacking them in like piles.
And spoon rests are way heavier than like a cup would be.
Yeah, because the cup doesn't have anything on the inside. Yeah, I mean, and it might be a good opportunity to optimize your shelving units. Like, if you realize, hey, I've got some extra headroom in this room where these shelves are, like maybe you need to upgrade a shelving unit to make it get a little more sturdy one that's a little bit more space for you to store stuff. Or, we did a garage clean out semi recently and cleaned out some old pottery inventory. And I don't, I donate some things to, it's kind of good around the fall because I get to donate things to our like local empty bowls event and I
Hmm.
get some old stock out that way. But if you don't have like an ongoing way to donate work, it can be tough and items just pile up. I mean, I have a bin underneath one of my tables that's got a bunch of Bisqueware planters in there that I haven't made in like 2 years, and they're just sitting there that I need to like just glaze or just chuck. I don't know. Because I could put some new Bisqueware in those bins
Yeah.
that are currently like half full, but I haven't touched them in a while.
Yeah, and if you're gonna chuck them, I mean, like if you know people that shoot guns, just give them to them. They'd love to shoot them for targets. I'm not promoting guns, but I am saying I have friends that are gun people. I'm not necessarily, but yeah, they love shooting
A little
Bisqueware
target practice.
target practice, but also, I think they also work on like stacking things inside of things. So if you have small stuff, make sure you're like optimizing your space that way. You can put cups inside of mugs typically. Um, if you're making sponge holders or whatever, you can put those in bowls. Like just make sure that you're stacking appropriately. Also, I should mention this. Um, a trick that I learned from many years past about like stacking things that like touch rims or whatever. If you use coffee filters, they're a really good way just to kind of like put something in between so they don't scratch. So
Oh, you're
really
talking about
cheap.
finished pots?
Uh-huh. Finish
Oh,
pots.
okay.
Yeah, like and it's really cheap, just buy a bunch of coffee filters and you can put them in between cups or bowls or planters or what have you. So
That's a good idea. I've had some bowls that will scratch on the sides a little bit if they nest too tightly.
yeah. So that's just a good way to protect them while you're storing them. Yep.
All right, next question is from sunshadow.clayworks. Um, did you do an episode on how to handle difficult situations at markets? For example, if a customer breaks one of your art pieces, or even more difficult, if you suspect or actually see someone stealing from you?
If you saw somebody stealing from you, I'd fucking yell at them.
I'd probably be like, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am."
I'd probably be like, thief,
Shh, thief.
thief. Or like, you know what you should do is at shows always have water balloons under your table.
You just safely have a couple under your table,
Yeah,
just in
and
case.
just like make sure you do some target practice and make sure
Mm.
you can peg your offenders.
You put some like food dye in it.
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe a paintball gun.
A paintball gun. Oh my gosh. What about a water gun? What about a little
Yeah, 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 that'd be good. It would be so funny to have a water gun if like kids start to go to touch your pots, you just squirt them.
just a little subtle like
No, 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 no.
don't touch that, Billy.
Don't touch. And then whenever, it'd be so fucking funny if you had pots that like you weren't supposed to touch. If every time somebody went to touch it, you just played "Don't Touch This" by Don't touch this.
Oh, the MC Hammer or whatever.
MC Hammer, yeah.
It's kind of like the little button that you have on your under your table that's just like a
Yeah.
little soundboard sort of.
Like a card that opens. Can't touch this.
Yeah. I I think if the customer shows regret for breaking it, if they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Like as long as they show that, I think I'm generally okay to not
Yeah.
have them pay for it.
But if you're financially like if it's a lot, then you could always do 50%.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
That's what we did at Claycon West. Somebody broke something and she paid 50%.
Yeah, I think if they're willing to pay, if you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me pay you for that." And if they're showing that effort, I think it's reasonable to be like, "Hey, you know, I understand it's an accident. If you're willing to
Yeah.
pay 50%, I would appreciate that."
Yeah. And I like me, I'm always gonna be like, don't worry about it, you know? But some people value their stuff a lot more than I do. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I
um,
don't know that I've had anybody break. I think I might have added a little extra. I think they might have already been buying something else or something, and they broke. I think it was like a spoon rest. It was probably like handed a spoon rest to me or something, and it dropped and broke.
oh, a good alternative too is saying like, hey, you don't have to pay for that, but I'd love if you paid for something else. You know?
Hmm.
Like you don't have to pay for the broken piece because that's not going to do anybody any good. But just buy something that you can use. And
Yeah.
now as far as theft, Ryan's probably better to talk to about this because I've actually chased people down. So,
I yeah, I don't know. I don't know what can you do about it? Can you contact because besides confronting somebody, can you contact the show organizer person and say, "Hey, I suspect somebody just stole something from me." Like, what are
yeah,
they gonna, and then what are they gonna do? Are they gonna call the security to come over, and then you're gonna be giving them a description of what they looked like, and are they gonna track somebody down and accost them and say like, "Hey, did you steal something?"
right. But also they could tell other people, hey, this person was caught stealing, just so you know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would take as much details as I could about them and contact the show organizer. Is maybe like the official channels that would make sense because I don't want to start yelling like security, security.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm a bad person to ask this question because I just don't give a shit if somebody steals something. Like,
I mean, generally, I'm like, if somebody's willing to steal it, like they must have wanted it more than they must need it more than I do. Like
yeah.
it's just pottery
Like
at the end
if
of the
they're gonna
day. But
steal
if it
it
was, you
to
know,
resell it, like good fucking luck. Like, yeah, I don't know. I should watch Aladdin tonight.
yeah, I think the only other thing is, what can you do to make it less likely that somebody would be able to steal something?
Yeah.
Not like, you have to stand in front of your table and have people talk to you to reach the stuff, but, having somebody help you if you can have some assistant with you at the booth. That way you have a good eye on stuff because I could suspect you get busy, you get distracted, you're packing somebody's order, you're doing something else, you're paying attention to another customer. Like somebody could do
Yeah.
that.
For sure. Woo.
And like how you organize your booth, what pieces are more accessible to be grabbed or um, easily taken without you noticing. Yeah, I would say generally I don't jump to the conclusion that somebody probably stole something. I kind of go with unless I actually see them do it, but I would generally be like, "Oh, I must have like misplaced it," or "Oh, somebody picked it up and then they looked at it and they set it back down in a different spot and I didn't notice it," rather than being like, "Oh, that thing was there before. What happened to it?"
Yeah.
Or be like, "Oh, well, the other customer that picked it up is standing over here waiting to check out and they have it in their hand. It's not that like that person over there stole it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough.
All right. Do you want to read the next question or you want me to pull it up?
I think that we should do Maker of the Moment.
Ooh. Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Do you have one? I know you were adding to the list.
I have one, and I have one that's a twofer.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like yeah, so it's a twofer because they're married.
Oh, okay. All right.
Uh
Who is it?
well, I wanted to highlight the people that are letting me stay on their property because both of them have fucking phenomenal ponds. So, the links are in there if you want to go look, but it's Sarah Tolbert and Preston Tolbert, and they have completely different styles. Sarah's is we'll do Sarah's first.
Ooh.
Sarah's is really fucking cool. Sarah's is soda fired porcelain ware and it's carved and she is so stinking good. Like her page is not like all pottery, but like the top part of it is, and her stuff is so good. So
Ooh. I love the look of that. That's cone? I'm guessing that's cone 10 soda probably, right?
yeah, yeah, Cone 10 soda. So they have a soda kiln, a wood kiln, an onigama. Um, yeah. So anyway, you might have to come down here and do a soda slash
Mm.
a wood firing with us.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff looks awesome.
Yeah. Sarah's just like she's like so stinking talented. And then her husband is also so stinking talented, but they're completely different. So let me switch to
So Sarah is Sarah Tolbert Ceramics on Instagram.
yeah, and it's not with an H, it's Sara
Okay.
Tolbert. All right, and I'm going to share her little video. And why don't you say yours and then I'll do Preston.
Okay, mine for today is Eric Beaver's Pottery. So I have one of his mugs. Looks like he was in New Mexico. He is now in Nesbit, Mississippi.
Ooh,
So he's got a lot of like matte surfaces, but it's multicolors. So it's got kind of that Andy Clark look a little bit with the dark black in the recessed areas, and then it's got the bright colors on the foreground areas. It looks like it's a combination of wheel thrown with hand built.
you said Eric Beavers?
Eric Beaver's pottery. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His stuff is so cool.
Yeah, and it looks like he's using probably a lot of underglaze, some of the washes, and then the mug that I have has it's got a nice white liner glaze, so it kind of contrasts the brightly colored out exterior. So yeah, that's my person.
Um,
Eric
I
Beaver's Pottery on Instagram.
I
I got
really
one of his mugs at I think it was the Companion Gallery show that was at one of the Encicas a few years back. It was really nice.
uh, if you could like a little series that we're doing, that'd be great too. Because like I want people to, see the stuff and
What did you say? You cut out.
I said if everybody could let us know if they like the maker of the moment, you know,
Yeah.
it would be great. So my second person, because normally I would only have one, but my second person is Preston, who is Sarah's husband, And he is a large pot type of person, and he also makes a lot of bonsai pots, and he's insane.
What is his
So
Instagram?
Preston, Preston dot Tolbert, Tolbert. And
Big pots. Yeah, those are pretty large.
he's just like, yeah, he's just freaking insane and also the kindest person I think I've ever met in my entire life. Like,
You need those people around. Can't get
yeah,
enough of those people.
quite literally, this man has like a special place in like where whenever he dies, he's gonna be like in this like little toll booth of like specialness. He's absolutely the kindest human being ever. He makes everybody I know look rude comparatively. So, yeah,
Do they do shows together?
they do.
Okay.
I know, and I really want him to go to NCECA, but there's a big show that he does that he makes a ton of money at every year, and it's during NCECA, and it's God, there's like Catawba Valley, which is like big pottery stuff.
Hmm.
And he's like, yeah, I can't go to NCECA. And he's like, I've told them multiple times that they should go to NCECA. Like they should, do this a different date so that we can go to NCECA. And they're like, what's NCECA? Because it's like North Carolina doesn't need NCECA because they're just like all their own potters. I
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
Ooh, man, seeing his kiln building. He's got a lot of kiln videos and
oh
photos
yeah,
and stuff.
he's a kiln builder and he's just like super super knowledgeable, super yeah, like makes giant pots. Um he's one of those he's a capital P potter.
Capital P Potter.
I'm not a capital P potter, right? Like I think I would be if I actually liked it. And like but he's like a capital P, like Potter potter. Like, you know what I'm saying? He like eats, breathes, and lives pottery.
Okay, there you go. I was like, I don't know what you mean by that.
Like,
I just think like old school Potter, but
yeah, I guess an old school potter, but you can be an old school potter and not be a capital P potter. You know what I'm saying? Like, capital P potter is like, they got their own club.
like official.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my next
Okay, so there we go. Sarah and Preston.
suggestion.
Sarah and Preston Tolbert.
Yep.
And y'all can look at any of those maker of the moments on our Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast. We have them in a highlight
Yes, that's why it takes us so long because I highlight them every time we every
while we're
time we
going
do
through them.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
All right. The next question is from ceramics underscore by Margaret. If money didn't exist, what would you make?
Furniture
Hmm.
out of wood. If money didn't exist, what would I make? If money didn't exist, I would be sleeping all the time. I would be in fucking on a beach somewhere.
But she said make. What would you make? You would make memories?
I'd make memories. I'd make sand castles. I would make fish annoyed. That's what I would make. I would I
You'd
would
annoy the fish? How would you annoy
I
the
would
fish?
I would make my belly full, my my skin tan. No, I would if money wasn't a thing, what would I make? I'd probably make silver jewelry. Like
Mm.
fine jewelry.
This is a terrible question for me because I really can't get there to like just think about that and just because I'm so far down this road that I'm like I'm not creative enough to be like this is what I always wanted to make. Uh, I guess just atmospheric pots. I don't know.
You'd like make a wood kiln and
Probably yeah, atmospheric and probably
soda
get
kiln and
yeah get a community of folks to fire it and
broski though.
do that kind of thing
Reels though, that hill that you have would be a perfect hill for a kiln.
to like have a anagama or something
Yeah,
in the hill.
yeah, in the hill. And you could call it in the hill.
In the hill pottery.
Yeah, get it.
All right. There's another question that came in that I'm gonna actually refer to another resource for because I don't know anything about it. They were asking Tulip Tree Tales was asking the ins and outs of low fire clay and glazes. I thought using them would be easier, but they have their own troubleshooting to do with not as much information online to help.
Mm,
And
facts.
my resource was going to be to look up Ben Carter's book, The Complete Guide to Low Fire Glazes for Potters and Sculptors. So I heard him talk about it recently, and it's got a accumulation of it says 95 other artists. So it goes into like some other artists that do low fire and what processes they use and how
Yeah,
they do what they do. So it's got some different clays in there as well as the glazes recommendations and somebody was saying it's useful for anyone, novice or expert, who is looking for proven low fire recipes from successful artists. So
yeah,
I'll put a link to Ben's website and you can look up that. But Ben Carter has he's been doing low fire for a long time and yeah, it's usually I guess you hear like terracotta and I think Justin Rawshank's been doing low fire for a long time, low fire soda, like Cone 3 soda and low fire other stuff too, and it's like it feels foreign because everybody's Cone 10, Cone 6. I feel like it
yeah,
gets overlooked unless you're trying to do like brightly colored stuff or you're doing the paint a pot stuff where you fire it to 04. But yeah, there's options out there. I don't know any other books. Have you heard of any other or
no,
know of any
no.
other
I
low
feel like
fire folks?
we're both like so out of that realm that there's nothing that I would know.
Yeah, I just never had interest in the low fire side of things.
Yeah. Um, let's do one more because I feel like the Black Dog Potter MN is like a good one to end on.
Okay.
How do you develop and test new product lines?
Mm, okay, so I could think about this as like an individual item, like a form that I'm thinking of. I don't
Okay.
really have product lines necessarily, like a full body of tableware, like dinnerware. I don't know. I just think of it as like adding a spoon rest or not a spoon rest, adding like a sponge holder or something. So I'd probably make I tend to make like 25 or 30 of something, get it all the way through, test it with the colors with my most popular colors that tend to sell, take
Mm-hmm.
them to a show or not just one show, but take them to probably 3 or 4 shows and get a feeling of how people respond to them. Do they know what they are? Do they ask questions about them? Are they picking them up like, oh yeah, like listen to the comments about, oh, that seems like something useful. And, they might be getting an oil bottle and they want one to match. So they tend to pair items like that. So I think in-person shows is the way that I tend to test those new products out.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that with garlic graters. I've done that with the spoon rests, the oil bottles over time, soup bowls. And then I just kind of gauge how much reaction am I getting for it. And if something tends to not sell very well, I'll just slowly stop taking it or, not make more of it. That's kind of how I tend to test new things.
I I do kind of do product lines, but I will also say that if you want to look at somebody who does product lines really, really well, I would go and look at Heidi Fehrenbacher's work, Bella Joy Pottery. She is really good at the whole line situation. She's she has like a summer line and a winter line and a spring line. And while she is selling the summer line, she's testing for the spring line, or whatever, like continuing on and on and on. And so that's a really good one. But I will say for me, since I do a lot of smaller work, smaller batch stuff right now, I if it's earrings, I will make one of everything in every single color and kind of like lay them out and see how I like them. And and see like what I like about it and what I don't, and then kind of tweak it if I need to. Um, but if it's a like glazing like actual pieces and stuff like that, I'll probably make like four. I do like two small and two larger. Maybe not the same size that I want to do necessarily, but I kind of do like a test run of four and see and like send it out to people who I like and respect their opinions of and or know that they don't like that certain style. Like I've been doing hand belt stuff, and so I've sent it to a few people that don't do hand belt stuff and like don't like them. So um
You
yeah,
send the physical pieces, or are you sending photos to them and say,
just
"What do you think
photos.
of this?"
Just photos. And just I like to get a few done before I kind of like commit to a batch. And I'll do like four of them just to see how I like them and see if they turn out the way that I like. And then I will go from there. So,
So all that happens before you even show a customer.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and like I'll start getting opinions like pretty early on too. Like the cups that I'm doing right now, I got opinions from Dell like the day the day I made them. So, I think I got them from Isaac and Andrew as well. So,
Yeah.
um and then like you got the final, well, it's not totally done, but mostly done of the final version, and those are in the kiln right now actually. And that's what's kind of nice about having that plug and fire actually, is that I've been able to do uh these four cups in like four firings in 4 days.
Yeah.
That's been nice. And then I'll kind of like ramp up from there. But
Yeah. I think with like a new form, I'm willing to know that like it's not gonna be perfect when I take it in front of
yeah,
customers. So I rely on their feedback to tweak things here and there. Like, you know, the sponge holder, for instance, the width of the cutout, I realized like, oh, it's too tight for a scrub mommy or scrub daddy, for instance. If it's too tight, then like, okay, can I make them the next batch a little bit wider so it can accommodate that?
yeah.
Instead
I
of
think,
saying, "Oh, well, I can't sell it until I've thought through all the different iterations that somebody could need this item for." I'm just
yeah.
like, okay, like I'll figure that out when I get it in front of people and they buy it. I don't feel like it has to be perfect, perfect.
Yeah, I definitely do think that's important too, is like what you were saying, is just like realizing that it might not be perfect right away, and you still need to sell things while you're developing at the same time. You know,
Hmm.
like I think that some people will just develop, and not ever sell anything.
Yeah.
And then once they get to a stage where they're finally ready to sell, they're like, "Oh, well, I don't like this anymore because I found something new." Like be okay
Or
selling
they've gone through the iteration of getting it to a perfect state and then you get feedback from a customer that like doesn't match what you've
right.
like they don't expect it to be what it is or whatever and they're like, "Oh, I want to another tweak to this. It'd be better if you had this."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay."
Be okay with just selling. I'm gonna say this, but I say this, I'll explain it in a second. But be okay with selling crappy stuff. Like be okay with selling the stuff that you started with, and then the stuff that you made better, and then the stuff that you made better than that, and then so on and so forth. Because if you don't, then I don't think you ever will develop any new line or new products, you know? And that's the whole point of developing a line is that you're getting better each time. Um, and realizing that you will get better is like really important, you
Yeah,
know?
and I think I kind of price it a little bit with the like I think the soup bowls. The first time I made soup bowls, I didn't exactly know how to price it that like well because my cereal bowls were like 26 or $28, and then I put a handle on it, and I was like, okay, what do I charge for this? I was like 32. You know, if it
Yeah,
was 26 to 30, like $5 for a handle, right? And then 32 was, they sold really quickly because I wasn't making that big of a production at that point. And then I was like, okay, 32 is too low. And then I bump it up to 35. And then 35 is like selling quick. And then I bumped it up to 38. And then 38 is still selling quick. And I kind of settled at 40 to 42. But
yeah.
it's like, how is the handle worth $15 on a
Who
cereal
knows
bowl?
what it is?
But it's like, okay, it could be that I was underpricing the cereal bowls too, and people just don't buy that many cereal bowls
Yeah,
like that. So I'm like, okay, it's fine that it's like, don't think of it so. And some people think of it's like a mug. So it's like, okay, how is this mug that is like this size, holds 14 ounces, is $38 or $40, and a cereal bowl that holds double the volume is $2 more? But it's like,
right.
it's just perception of like what people see it as and how they're going to use it.
Yeah,
Because the setting, like at the coffee festival, people see it as a mug and they're like, "Oh, this is like a steal because it's like a $42 mug, but it
yeah,
holds way more." But I'm like, that's not really what it's for. But I mean, as long as I'm as long as I'm tweaking it a little bit over time too, I think that's fine. You
yeah.
can adjust the price over time and make it
Yeah, I
better.
also think that like sometimes, I mean, it depends. Sometimes it takes like years to develop your quote unquote line that is you, like, but then you can have like sublines in that time, like just figuring out what you want. I've done like so many different styles of the fancy cups over the years. God, so many. So like it's just yeah, like
Because for you, a line of pots could be that the clay body is different, and that's like its own line of work. And you're
yeah,
playing around with the clay and the colors, the underglaze colors that'll look good on them, and how it feels like burnish wise and soft wise versus another clay body that looks different.
yeah,
I don't know. I think I would get intimidated with the glaze production line like Heidi, where you like completely cycle out a glaze combination and you only offer it for a period of time. I'm like, I want all the options and just filter down which ones don't survive. Like if they're not good enough and they don't sell, then they're not gonna keep going. But if they do keep going, or if people still like them, then I'm gonna keep them. Like unless there's some raw material reason that I can't make that color anymore, or there's defects with it when I'm trying to apply it. Like why would I not keep going? I don't know. That's where I'm kind of like that kind of brings in like scarcity a little bit with like making something for a limited time and you're doing it to get people to buy it. But also like you can get tired of stuff and you want to move on. But I don't generally get tired of colors like that. I'm just like
yeah,
I could like a color and I want it to sell well because I really love that glaze, but if it doesn't sell well, I'm fine with like putting it on the shelf
yeah, for sure.
and not let the customer decide if it's but like give it time. Like take it to a few shows and see if it does well
Hmm.
and give it the opportunity, but don't like put so much weight on like, oh, if this doesn't sell, like I put all this work into getting this glaze that I formulated from scratch or whatever, and people don't like it. Like, okay. I iterated a little bit with the garlic graters slightly. Like there's some more subtle ones, and then people start using them, and it's like not as great. And then
Yeah,
it didn't work on the white clay because the white clay was too soft. It didn't have any grit to it. And then adjusted the I added a little spoon rest holder so it had the lip. So it was basically a spoon rest that had a garlic grater option to it. So that made it easier to sell. And then I think I changed the texture. I used a different tool to get more gritty of a texture on the white clay and the speckled clay, and it made it easier to sell because it like actually worked better. So
Yeah.
I that's something that you can I think you got to be open to taking feedback and adjusting over time.
Yeah, for sure.
All
That
right. Hopefully those questions were helpful. It's kind of a range there.
was a lot. There was a lot. There was a lot.
Yep. Thanks everybody for asking those.
Yeah, it was
Any
really.
parting words, Becca?
Um, let's see.
Take care of your hands. No.
No, I was thinking of this song that Robert Downey, no, not Robert Downey Jr.
Harry Connick Jr.
Yes, Eric Connick Jr. No,
Did you say Eric Connick Jr.?
I don't know what I just said. Never step in cow shit on a hot day. That is my parting. That's my parting words.
Hmm.
What's that? That's a song. It's a song.
I have questions, but I don't really. I mean, you shouldn't want to step in cow shit any day, but why specifically on a hot day?
Good.
Is it more pungent?
Okay. Because then it's all wet. Not a song.
He actually says that in a song.
Hank Williams Jr.'s.
Hank Williams. Okay.
Hank Williams Jr. It says, "Never step encountered on a hot day."
What's the
No,
name of that song?
um, hearing it?
Barely. Nope. It's tuning it out because it's background noise. That's okay.
Okay, well, now I'm really sad
What's
because
the name of the song? People can look it up.
the song is called "The Cow Turd Blues."
Oh my gosh. The cow turd blues. I thought that was just gonna be a line in it. That's like the focus of it. The cow turd blues.
Hold on, I'll find the lyrics. The cow turd
Oh
blues
my gosh.
lyrics. Okay. There's some things in this country you don't mess with. And I am blessed to be on that short list. We're out here in the real world. Wait. Oh, yeah, yeah. We're out here in the real world, not the feel-good media swirl, and we've something for you. Read our lips. They've made a huge miscalculation about the mood of this nation. Good working people done got tired of being wrong. Then they saw one of their own get mistreated and dumped on. I
Oh
don't know.
my gosh. This is very deep. And then you get to cow turds. Don't
It's
step in
very
cow turds.
political.
Yeah.
They was standing behind him. He's not alone. Never kick a cow turd on a hotbed. Oh, I thought it was a hot day on a hotbed, or you might get some poo on your pants legs. Thought they were going to have some fun kidding around with old Hank's son, but America had my back all the way. Remember, never kick a cow turd on a hotbed. Never pick up a rattlesnake the wrong way. Never ever kick. Would have been much smarter to let it sip. Never kick a cow turd. Should have let the man just be here. Never kick a cow turd on a hotbed.
Whew.
What's
All
even
right.
greater about it is that the start of it is like, oh, I can't go back to it. The start of it is so funny. Like he's like, I
It's
just
kind of
want
serious, and then it gets to
that short list. And then he goes, never kick a cow turd on a hot day.
hotbed.
I don't know what a hotbed is, but that's fine.
I don't either.
Anyway, that's never kick a cow turd on a hotbed. That's my parting words.
You get it on your pant leg.
You might get poo on your pant leg.
Jeez. All right. And with those words, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Wheel Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.